what it is, but some days it's just how it goes. My mood. One word, an image, are enough to take me back to my childhood and get me thinking about those days. I have these fragmented flashbacks of older times, now gone. So much has changed and I too have changed, but some things have stayed the same, like me being a nerd. If I wasn't a nerd back then, when I was 6, at least I must have been some kind of prototype of nerd. I guess it was my destiny to love things like Pokemon. And yeah, I'm going by the Italian pronunciation, so bear with me. What was so special about it that made me fall in love, that got me obsessed with it? And not just me, everybody around. Because Pokemon was an unprecedented, unrecorded phenomenon, uniting the kids of the entire world. I don't think I can give answers. I can only try to guess the reasons and reminisce some episodes from those days. My intention with this video is not to be informative. It's just a talk about the past, as simple as that, and who knows, I might not remember anything or remember it all wrong. Where do I even begin? Well, first of all, let me get this straight. When looking back, it's absolutely inevitable to not give nostalgia some form of agency. It's impossible to have an objective discussion with me about Pokemon. I will always love it, even if we fell out. A wistful or excessively sentimental yearning for return to some past period. That's what nostalgia means according to some dictionary, and they got it right. Nostalgia is fuel to memories. I remember going to school and drooling over these kids' backpacks with Ash and a few Pokemons portrayed. Though I always thought it was a bit childish to show off. Don't get me wrong, I loved Pokemon. I just didn't want to show it in that way to people. You know, I was quite the proud kid back then. In general, Pokemon merchandise was so cool. Too cool. Maybe even more than Dragon Balls. And much like Dragon Ball, if you missed an episode of the anime, you were done. You missed it, since there was no streaming service or YouTube back then. Or at least not as popular as today. Though, unlike Dragon Ball, something felt different. A Pokemon episode was much rarer to catch. I can't remember a precise schedule, if not during the mornings, and for that I would fake being sick and skip school just to watch one episode, even though I clearly remember watching some in the evenings. I don't know, that's Italian television for you right there. And this impossibility to know exactly when it would air, added on top of the fact that missing it actually meant a lot, this evanescence all contributed to make Pokemon even more attractive and beautiful. I used to play the video games on my Game Boy Advanced, that's what I used to call it. I used to collect cards, tons of them. I remember anxiously looking forward to my mom come back home so she would bring me new cards, and the days she wouldn't, those were sad days indeed. Sometimes made up by her bringing home papers printed at her office with Pokemon drawings to color manually with pastels. Everything rotated around Pokemon, which, if you have watched my Dragon Ball video, comes earlier in time as a phenomenon. Waking up in time to catch the episode, going to school and flexing or trading cards, then back home coloring the drawings or playing the games. My life and many others was all about this passion. But this begs the question, where did such a morbid passion come from? Just why Pokemon? Simply put, I cannot give an answer, because the answer has been lost in time. I believe my cousin introduced me to Pokemon. He was my idol and he still is my inspiration for much, but unfortunately these are things that go back to 20 years ago, and there they stayed. Memory is a weird thing, but if I had to give a reasonable explanation to me liking Pokemon to death, I think I have to give credit to the feeling of adventure, of exploration in a tangible world, with Ash only being 10, making it feel like you too could do that. Leave home, collect these fantastic creatures and build a wholesome friendship with them, a family. Make a name for yourself out there, while feeling so many emotions like the risk of losing Pikachu or Charmander. It was so real. Pokemon always felt warm, so close to home, familiar, and surely the animation, the movies, the hand-drawn cartoon, the choice of colors and art style, the creative designs, mystery. Thinking back, it was all so perfect. Or maybe it's my nostalgia taking over and talking, if it hasn't been already until this point. I talked about its positive vibe, but something was not so positive. I had a Pikachu doll, pretty small, maybe as big as a kid's fist. It was made out of hard plastic, and its downside was that it made the perfect instrument to beat me. My little sister, whenever done wrong by me, would take it and teach me a lesson. Don't worry though, it was all wholesome. It used to hurt a bit, Pikachu's ears with that hard plastic, but that's love, I guess. Anyway, how did I even break away from it? I can't remember. I feel sorry. Like many things, it just happened. There is a poet whose particular line of thought goes something like, "Poetry is in imagination." One of his poetries had this very high fence over which it was impossible to see, and so all he was left with was his imagination of the space beyond it. Although sad that I've forgotten so much, that there are so many empty gaps between my memories, it's poetic that I have loved something for so long and so much, but I just can't remember why and how I fell in love. It's all left to speculation, be it correct, close, or wrong. So, the title, what's Pokemon for me? Well, how should I put it? Pokemon is me. It's part of me, inseparable. From time to time, I go up to check in the mansard if my cards collection is still there, well knowing nothing could ever happen to it. But it's the paranoia of losing myself. It's as if the infant in me wanted to come back out. But it's the past. Its time has run out. All a memory. Even now we are living a future memory, but can't know it. It's only when it's lost that we truly appreciate something so dear. Although as kids, at the age of Ash, everything had a different and better flavor. Now, we have all grown up and left those times behind. While Ash has stayed 10.